Hey, hi everybody. Thanks for joining. We have a fun live today. This is a really hot topic. As many of our friends know, when it comes to the world of canine sports, um, having a budget is not a bad idea because there's so much that you guys spend money for your dogs, which is amazing. You treat them like kings and queens. But the reality, times have been a little bit tougher. So understanding if there's a way to be more effective from a financial standpoint to do all the fun things that you guys like to do, that's the purpose of today's show. So I'm super stoked to talk about, for one specific sport, actually, we're going to talk about duck diving on a budget. And the guest that I'm bringing on board to talk about this is, well, somebody who knows a lot about dog diving. This is a world record champion holder, somebody who's passionate about the sport, that teaches the sport, that competes at a super high level in the sport, and is also very much in love in the community of the sport. So this is why I really wanted to bring the right person to talk about dog diving on a budget. And if you're looking at the screen, you already know who I'm talking about. This is a very good friend that's very passionate about this sport and other sports. But today, we're going to focus on dog diving. So let me bring her on right away. This is my good friend, Rachael Brinkman. Here we go. Bring you on the stream. Here's so we can see you. Here we go. Hi, Rachael.
Hello.
Hey, thanks for joining.
Okay.
I'm.
Looks like
I,
it's frozen. Do you see me all right?
I will see you just fine.
Okay.
You're good on our end.
Okay.
Thanks for making the time. I know you've had like a really busy day, and it's the season where dog diving gets super busy. So, but I'm really excited to talk about this, and I know we could make this show talking about dog diving on a budget for like 3 hours, but I've pressured Rachel to say you gotta narrow it down and give us like the key top 5 tips. So, I want to thank you for coming on board. This is going to be a fun event. And talking about budget, a couple of things we're going to do. For some of you folks who just joined, we're here with Rachel, our expert in dog diving. And if you want the show notes from this particular show, and we're going to do a one TDC giveaway, which you will get automatically in the drawing, just type in the notes the word dog diver. So, Rachel, I'm going to let you take it away and help us maneuver this world of dog diving. And how do we do this on a budget?
Well, as we know, dog sports in general is a luxury and it is expensive. And some dog sports are much more expensive than others. I feel like duck diving is probably one of the most expensive sports that you can get involved in. Of course, it's addicting. So once you get into it, you want to find ways to keep playing. But with the rise of gas prices and living expenses and everything coming up this year, I think it is important that we need to, first of all, make a budget. If we're going to be competing in one of the more expensive sports, I think coming up with what your weekend cost looks like is going to be, your first step to making sure that you stay in your lane. So budgeting beforehand, looking at how far away that an event might be, cost and all that. But the first step I definitely think is establishing that budget to know how much you can spend before you start looking at, other parts.
So that's tip number one is make a budget. So can I ask you, when you say that, is it like you literally have like an amount and you stay in that lane of that amount and don't go beyond that? Is it maybe less less competition, or how do you manage that to stay within that budget?
Well, I think there's a lot of different parts of this that you have to take into consideration. First of all, how many dogs you're jumping. Some people only have one dog. I have a lot more than that. So I have to take into consideration how many dogs I'm competing with. Then I really got to look at event costs when it comes to that. Just in general, how far away is it? If it's far enough away that you have to look at lodging, whether it's camping, getting a hotel, a B&B, something along that. So you really have to look at the cost of travel, right? Now, staying close to home obviously makes travel much less expensive. Then you're really looking at the cost of the event.
And that's your tip number 2. You just jumped in tip number 2 that you provided for us, which is know your event costs.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of money that it that it can cost sometimes to jump multiple dogs you really have to look at the cost of the event that you are participating in. The cost can really vary in competition, anywhere from $20 a jump up to like $35 a jump. And that's, one dog, one jump, one round, right? So if you're competing with multiple dogs, you got to get kind of cost conscious. So that really adds up very quickly.
So on that front, in knowing your event cost, which is your tip number two, and your tip number one, which is to make a budget to stay in your allotted amount. So how do you determine, like you're not the only one who has multiple dogs. A lot of our friends at the 1TC Works World, they have a lot of dogs. So how do you make that determination on who goes like for this specific event? Do you have like a process that you narrow down, or do you always have all the dogs go?
So I mean, if I'm traveling far, then all my dogs are going to go because I can't just, I don't know, it's easier to take them with us than it is to get a dog sitter. But when it comes to who's jumping, I generally try to not choose like who jumps. I really look at what each dog is working on when it comes down to, am I going for personal best? Am I still building confidence? Am I looking to, work on rankings, average, that kind of thing? So I definitely, when I get into competition, there is absolutely dogs that I'm going to jump more. And those are going to be my more seasoned dogs that are conditioned, that are confident with what they're doing. Whereas, some of my younger dogs, I may not jump as many times because I'm working problem solving, right? Working on confidence, still building that up. So that I definitely don't enter all of my dogs in every jump that they all do. But, knowing your dog obviously is important, but, I still don't get any less than 3 or 4 dogs that I'm competing with in a weekend. And if I'm going for, a 1 or 2 day event, I don't want to sit around the whole time either. If I go, I want my dogs to play. So there's a lot of variables that you have to consider when choosing which events to go to.
Yeah, that's a good point. So you know your cost of your event, you have your budget, and it sounds like based on what you're saying, you really are building a plan per dog to optimize your time and also their training or the points and scoring that you're shooting for. That's really cool. So, what other tips could you help some of your peers out there to really help in the aspect of dog diving on the budget?
Well, I think sometimes, taking a step back from the, just the travel expenses and the entry fees, there's, other things that you can do to, to kind of save money in the right places in order to, have more money for competition, because that's what we all want, right? I think one of the big things that you can do is, focus on supplements that provide more for your money. I don't have a lot of supplements that my dogs are on, but I definitely have a handful of supplements that I think really enhance performance, muscle, just in general overall health for the athlete's body. There's a handful of different ways that I look into saving money on the supplements that I do buy, because the supplements that I buy, it's not just for one dog. I have lots of dogs that take the different supplements that I give. So some companies will offer, purchasing in bulk. You can get discounts. Purchasing on auto ship. Some of the things that I get off of like Chewy or from different manufacturers, I get on auto ship, or I get more supplies at once so that I'm able to, save money on that. We actually are on auto ship and bulk from TDC website, so that helps us there.
Well, on that note, actually, if you just join in, we're live with Rachael Brinkman. We're looking at the dog diving on a budget, and if you want to get some of the show notes, and we're doing a 1TDC giveaway on that note, which is a phenomenal oral health and mobility supplement. Just put dog lover in the notes, and you'll be in. If you got any questions, also in addition for Rachael, just put in the notes. We'll do our best to catch that. Yeah, I know your dogs actually have been on 1TDC for a really long time, and I really like your point is really to try to find the right supplement or supplements that do more for the money. And that's your tip number 3. So
Yep.
yeah, definitely. And the auto ship, and we also do a lot of things for it, like flyball as well. We have so many dogs and dog diving. We always help you guys out with that. But
Yeah.
Excellent. So tell me more. We're focusing, you're already at 3 tips that you provided us. a lot of people. This is getting such a popular sports over the years, dog diving. So any other announcements or anything that could help the community to really save some money?
Yes. So my next kind of tip in general, it kind of bounces a little bit back onto my tip number 2, which is identifying event cost. That's a huge thing, and dock diving as a sport is growing. It's all over our country, as well as in other countries as well, and within our country. Each state, it seems at this point, has facilities, and many of the states have multiple facilities. So it really gives people a lot more opportunity to play the game closer to home. So my next tip is going to be, looking for more local venues. Something new that I'm taking part in this year is launching international dog sports. So IDS for short. That is, it's a new dog sport organization. At this time, we're just doing dock diving, but we do hope to add more sports in the future.
Wait, slow down. This is big. So wait, hold on. You're talking because you have a lot of people here that do a lot of canine sports. So
yeah.
We've got it on the screen, join IDS, but so break it down. What does IDS stands for, and what are you guys doing exactly?
So IDS is this new dog sport organization. We're launching it here in 2022. The intentions of what we're trying to do is to keep costs down for competitors. So right now we're doing dock diving. We've already have 20 different facilities all over the country and in Canada. So all over US and Canada that are already sanctioned facilities that we are getting involved in bringing more dock diving opportunities to people on a local level in different areas and trying to keep costs down. So we're, bringing all of these different facilities on and really doing a lot more to kind of keep things on the local level, keep it facility run, right? So when we do that, not only can we keep costs down for facilities, but we can also keep costs down for competitors. So the big thing here that what we're doing at my dock, so my dock is Einstein Dock Diving, which is kind of a branch of my dog training company, which is Einstein Dog Training. We are doing several different competitions this year, as well as private lessons, group classes. We started off this dock league this year, which is going to be a great opportunity to bring everybody together just for some fun. But these competitions that we're doing are actual competitions that are judged, and we're ranking amongst all the rest of the facilities nationwide. And it's going to come down to invitation to our national championship, which we're doing on the local level also, but also on a national level. So this year, nice. Each of the facilities that are participating are holding the national championship at their venue, and then we're taking all scores and we're ranking them nationally for a national championship as well.
That's brilliant. So that
really
exciting. Sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
I just said it's really exciting. I'm really excited about it.
I mean, that's pretty neat. So you're focusing on making it affordable, continue doing the sport that you love in dog diving, and you guys are having events that's going to be national in different locations at the same time, and then leading to a big national event is what you're saying. That's really helping in cutting down on gas costs. That's for sure, which we know is a big one nowadays. But and also, I think it'll be interesting that the actual cost of the event, per runs, and how you guys are bringing that down. So everyone's going to want to know, Rachel said, okay, it's cool to say join IDS, but how do I find IDS and where do I go to join?
So internationaldogsports.com is the website. We actually just launched it a few days ago, so it's still in the beginning stages of development, but it's functional. So you can go there to find events, to register your dog. The great thing about registration is that this year it's free. So you can go on, register your dog for free. That gives you basically like your social security number with the organization. So we can track titles, we can track placements, and you never have to pay for it again. So it's just you never pay.
One-time registration.
Yeah. So you register, and then you've got your your lifelong number, and it's free to competitors this year. From there, you can look at events.
Okay, hold on. You're speaking fast. I want to make sure everyone gets this, and we should put that in notes as well. So it's International Dog Sport dot
Sports.
sports with an S
Yep.
.com.
Correct.
Okay,
And
so
you can find us on Facebook too.
okay, excellent. So everyone, as you're hearing this, go there, register now. It's free to register. It's a one-time registration, which is free right now, on an ongoing basis, and probably a whole lot more to develop. But that's really, really exciting and very timely, and really helping folks in dog diving. And it sounds like that might evolve to other sports in the future.
That's the eventual goal, is to be able to offer more, more things, bring more dog sports to people on a local level, for more affordable.
Excellent. And we'll definitely have that in the show notes. So if you just joined us, we've been covering the top 5 tips from Rachael Brinkman, world record dog diving champion holder, and she's sharing some really amazing tips. If you've missed some of it, definitely put Dog Lover in the notes. You'll get a recap of everything. We're also doing a giveaway of 1 TDC. So, and I'm super stoked to hear about joint ideas. I'm looking forward to actually going to those events. So that should be a lot of fun. Taking some pictures and seeing a lot of happy faces. All right, so you gave us 4 tips so far.
Yep.
What's the last tip that you want to give us on dog diving on a budget?
The last is getting your dog competition ready. When you're new to the sport,
Mm-hmm.
you can go straight to a competition. You can hop right in and jump your dog. I mean, if your dog jumps off of a dock into a water, then technically you're competition ready. But that's expensive. It's really expensive to do it like that, because it's going to cost a lot more to go and jump your dog once at a competition than it is to get involved with the sport, again, on a local level first before going into a competition. And I think there's a lot of ways that people can do that. Most people first learn that their dog likes to swim by taking it to the lake or the pond, or maybe they have a pool in their backyard. Once you know that your dog is interested in swimming, look for your local facility and get in and do a rental, do a lesson, something like that. Start working on your form and your technique before you get into competition. Because if your dog can do it in practice, then chances are you're going to be able to do it in competition as well. But it's definitely going to be a lot more cost effective if you're able to work out some of your kinks first before going into competition.
So definitely, then, in what you're saying, in being competition ready, is invest in some lessons in training prior to making that. Is there anything specific from a skill standpoint that you would recommend people to have before they go to their first competitions?
So in my experience, most dogs will continue to progress within their performance as they mature, as they get more experience. So I'm not saying wait until your dog is hitting 20 feet before you go into a competition, right? But at least having confidence leaving the dock, start working on some form of technique, rather than I see a lot of times people get up into competition. They start their dog all the way at the back of the dock, and the dog runs down and skids to a stop and then plops in. Now, had that person met with a trainer beforehand, or even got involved in the community, they would have gotten some tips first about how to build up your dog's confidence, how to get them to jump confidently. We would have given you tips like, well, don't start at the back of the dock first, because your dog gets going so fast and they're like, oh, I'm going too fast, I better slow down. So certain just little things like that, that you can gain from the community, gain from a trainer. Something that we offer at my facility is Duck Club. So
Okay.
it's not nearly as formal as coming and doing a private lesson or a rental. It's way more of a community where there's just a whole bunch of us that get together. Like we do twice weekly practices where everybody just comes over, we hang, we chat, we jump our dogs. So not only is that a great opportunity for dogs to just gain confidence by the exposure, but we can help each other out. So getting involved in your local facility to make friends with the people that are going and ask questions. I definitely feel like the majority of the dock diving community within all of the different organizations that I participated, they're all really friendly. And I think most people, if you ask them questions, they're going to help you, So
Got it.
going to an event and seeing a dog that looks like it knows what it's doing, go talk to those people, because they'll probably be able to give you some pointers.
Yeah, that's very true. That's the beauty of those events. You really definitely it's competitive, but you definitely give the sense of community. People are rooting for each other, which is a lot of fun. There's probably so many other things that we could discuss on this. I'm personally really stoked about your IDS. I hope everyone joins it if they haven't already. I think this is a wonderful opportunity, and I love the passion that you guys have behind taking this sport and making it available and accessible financially also, so they can continue having fun with the dogs. So that's really awesome. All right, let me do a recap of the top five. So let me start this over for a second. All right, we are going. Let me just turn this off for a quick second so we don't have all those things that are showing. Hi, everybody. I am super excited to talk about a really important subject today. And so many of you folks love doing activity with your dogs. It's like, it's your passion, it's your weekend, it's more than your weekend very often. But things have gotten expensive. So I've got a superstar in the world of dog diving that's going to give us the top 5 tips that everyone needs to know. Rachael Brinkman, I thank you for coming. And please tell us, what are those 5 tips to make dog diving on a budget?
Your first one is make a budget. Determine how much you can spend before you take off for an event. The second one is identify your event cost. So know how much it's going to cost before you commit to going, right? Your third is focus on supplements that make the most sense financially. Next is join international dog sports, because we're coming to your local dock and it's much more affordable than going out to dinner on Friday night, right? And number 5 is getting your dog competition ready before you commit to going to an event.
There you are. You have the top 5 tips. Rachel, I really thank you for your time. We're super stoked. And thank you again for making yourself accessible to the whole community of dog sports
Absolutely.
and dog diving.
Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. And I'm sure we'll be connecting again, because I think a lot of folks are going to want to hear a lot more about ideas. So I'll be very excited to bring you back on and talk
Good.
about this a bit further.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks, Rachel.